Okay, so final topic of the night. And Nom, I added this just for you.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was introducing you because, you're my beautiful bride and you're the producer of HangarReady. And you really should switch to the webcam and say hello now that everybody can hear you. Yes, come on, do it. Do it. Everybody say do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
God,
I just
peer
want to know how
pressure
much
that
crap Jake gets afterwards for this because he does it.
Oh,
every-
I'm going to be in the doghouse for a while after this. I can tell you right now because she is really not happy about that. Joni says hello. Jacqueline from ADI says hello and now is flipping me the bird. So, okay. Sorry about that. So, Nom, I added the final segment number 3. Let's have a conversation about the RTX 3080 launch. And Nom, why don't you start off? Because I know you have no opinions about this at all.
Oh, none at all. First off, I'll preface this by saying I am not an early adopter. I wait until you got others here might beta test what the latest hardware that comes out, and I see the pain they go through. But I got caught up into the hype a little bit. It looks, and it still looks good on paper. Still looks like a good deal. The new, talking about the NVIDIA 3080 and the 3090 that we've seen all the reviews on, and I was all eager. I said, you know what? It's a good deal. I'm going to go ahead and try to buy it. And seconds, it's literally seconds, and boom, it's over. Okay, it went straight from notify. Well, let us notify a notify button that you click on to tell you, and you refresh the page, and boom, sold out. And pretty much bots bought them all, is the understanding. But that, and some people who managed to get lucky and were very clever with how they set up their refreshes.
So it was the 890. It was the 890 jump of the NVIDIA cards.
Wow.
Right?
Pretty much, it was probably the heaviest on record, I think, as far as this sort of card release. It's, and supposedly, if there's Gamers Nexus and some others, they have videos on the subject where they get some information from distributors, and the cards were actually there. It's not a paper release, like people were saying. It's just there was heavy demand. People who were in a position to exploit bots and had the to do it and the resources to buy the cards jumped on the opportunity to make a quick buck, and it was a kind of crazy.
So Nam, if Jolly has little information about technology, I'm flipping illiterate. Okay.
Okay.
So for the cards, what is the I see 1060, 2080, 3080. Is it like a logarithmic scale as you go across these things, or is it just is it just the next generation? I mean, what does the 3080 do that my 1060 GTX can't?
Same thing, just does it faster.
Well,
more memory.
Yeah. It has.
Is it like a new CPU? It just more capacity, more throughput.
It has. There might be a little bit better spec. In this case, it's a decent jump from going from if I had a 20 series card, which is the previous gen, either the Supers or a TI or not, I probably wouldn't even care that much. It's still a jump over those, but it wouldn't be worth $700 to me to get a 3080 if I could. And I'm definitely not paying $1,500 for a 3090. I mean, that's just crazy.
So for somebody like me who's looking to upgrade after the first of the year, because I know that, I mean, I know my 1060 is it's not where it's at. Should I be looking at the 3080, or will the 2080 Ti get me where I want to go?
Hold on. Nam, do you mind if I jump in here just real quick?
I know where you're going on that as far as, go on.
Okay. So the key is that when we're talking about these, the first number, and we're going to stick with just the 4-digit NVIDIA cards. The first number indicates the generation. So a 10 series is a first generation or 10th generation, whatever you want to call it. But that's a generation. The 20 series is a completely new, faster chip. And then the 30 series is a completely new, faster chip than that. Okay. So That's the first thing to keep in mind. A 2080 Ti is Josh, you bought or sold one recently about
Yes.
a few months ago. How much did it sell for? Like $1,300?
It sold for the exact same amount that it retails for brand new as a used card at $1,200.
$1,200. Okay. So the 3070, which is a
$699.
$500 card, is per the benchmarks roughly 10 to 20% faster than the 2080 Ti, which is a $1,200 card.
Now, keep in mind that's what NVIDIA is telling us. There are no official benchmarks on the 3070 yet.
Correct.
As far as third parties that you would trust.
But there are 3080 benchmarks that clearly show a 40, 50, 60%, and in some cases 70% speed boost on the 3080. So there's a reason to think that the 3070 is still faster than the 2080 Ti. We'll have to wait and see. Correct. They're well, technically they're 12th gen or something like that, but yeah, 11th gen, but that's not neither here nor there. So the 20 series is basically an 18-month to 2-year-old technology. The 10 series is really a 3-year-old to 3.5-year-old technology. So that's why the car, first off, human malware caused everybody to go out and upgrade their computers, right? And supplies have been crazy to come by. And then NVIDIA stopped making 20 series cards for the most part to start making 30 series cards. And then they released and said, oh, these things are a lot faster. Now, NVIDIA said they're twice as fast. They are, but only in certain games using RTX, and it's really not. But they're significantly faster at a lot lower price point. And so everybody is sitting there going buy on Thursday morning at 8 o'clock Central Time. There were somewhere between, 10 and 15 of us on the ADI Discord that morning, Nom, and none of us, not a single one of us, got a card. And, trust me, some of us were using refresh techniques and it still didn't work. So, yeah, it's the cards are a lot faster, but it was a cluster bleep. Without a doubt, Newegg's servers crashed. They had higher load looking for this one video card than they normally see during a Black Friday sale. Amazon went from out of stock to sold out, and I never even saw the buy it now on a single one of the cards on Amazon, and they had a lot. It just was like a fraction of a second. It went from, because they were not having loading problems. Manufacturer websites were a nightmare. I got one into my cart on EVGA's site, which I normally would not buy an EVGA brand if I had a choice for a gaming rig. And, spent about a half hour trying to finally get the website to load and get into the checkout. And they had sold out before I could do that, and they wiped my cart. So it was a mess. And there is a limited supply. What they're doing right now is they are air mailing overnight cards out of China into the US to restock these partner cards. And
that's not cheap.
That is not cheap. So they're going to be selling them at a premium. So above retail, above MSRP. We will not see the first shipments, i.e. by ships into the US until mid to late October and November. And even then, they're not going to have enough supply, probably. So, this is the 3080 card is going to be hard to get your hands on for the rest of the year, I would suspect.
Yeah.
Until the insatiable appetite dies down or something.
Well, here's my question, Jay, though.
Go ahead.
Okay, 3080 is better than 2080, 2080 is better than 1080. Got that. No problem.
Well,
Do I
no,
need
no, no,
it?
no.
that was what I wanted to talk about. Is it's what's good enough. I mean, what are you trying to do? If you're trying to do 4K at 60 frames or better, you know, it's just a matter of how much are you willing to pay. If you're trying to do that, in some games that's still not going to be feasible. Some people here are trying to play Microsoft Flight Sim, I think, but that's more of a CPU problem. Josh knows a little bit about this,
Yeah.
but it's just not gonna. If you're just somebody who's just doing 1080p, uh, a 1080 GTX might even be good enough, depending on what you're doing. I mean, it really it just depends. Unless you're doing 4K, honestly, in my opinion, a 20 the 2080s are great they're great 1440p. You're not gonna bottleneck that thing.
So here's what I would say to counter that, and that is, if you have a 900 series graphics card, or heaven forbid somebody cons you into wasting money on an AMD graphics card, because there's no such thing as a good AMD graphics card. I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of hurt people out there, but it's just true. Then a 30 series, you want one. If you're on a 1070 or lower card, you probably are going to need to upgrade as well, even if even if you're only playing 1080p. Let's just be honest. It's a 3+ year old card, and it was the lower end of the spectrum, and you're gonna need to suck it up and buy a new card. I would not buy a 20 series, because the top of the line 20 series, which are still selling for crazy dollar amounts, are slower than what should be the $500 card that you're going to be able to buy when they're readily available. And
Just
that's
wait a few
really,
months.
but you have to wait, or you have to bargain hunt, and you just got to be patient. So that's the big issue here, is that, it's the 30 series cards are impressive, because normally when we went from 10 series to 20 series, and you went from a 1070 to a 2070, you really only saw about a 7 to 10% performance bump. And when we're going from a 27 or 2080, since we have stats on that, and the 3080, you're seeing a 70%, 73% performance bump in some games. That's a massive improvement. And that's why these cards are so attractive.
Jay, to get back to Turin's question, I know he was asking, should he upgrade? I think maybe we should touch for a moment on, the type of CPU you have and the rest of your system, because you could end up bottlenecking or not getting the full benefit of that GPU. So I guess the question for Turin is, what CPU do you have?
i7 6700.
Yeah. So you're on a 5-year-old computer.
Well, I know that. You and I've had discussions about it.
We've had this discussion, but I'm using you as an example here, Turing. I know you've heard all this. So there are different schools of thought. I'm of the school of thought, and this is my personal opinion, is that you should buy a new computer in whole every 3 years, like clockwork. You get one, you play with it, you buy a $1,000 to $1,500 computer, maybe a little bit more if you make a lot of money, not any less than $1,000 if but you invest that every 3 years. And then you take that computer, you set it to the side, and you build a new $1,000 to $1,500 computer after 3 years, completely brand new case, whole 9 yards, and you just keep doing that. And you will have a pretty good gaming experience forever if you keep doing that. As of right now, as we talk right here, there's only one CPU to buy if you're building a gaming computer, a pure gaming computer, and that is Intel. I know it hurts. I have a lot of AMD processors for computers that are not gaming computers, and I'm not an Intel fanboy. I make fun of them and complain about them on a regular basis, but for gaming, Intel is the only place in town to buy a gaming CPU. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. And NVIDIA is the only graphics card company that is in town. Maybe Ryzen 3 when it comes out, probably not. May change that. And if it does, we'll update our recommendations. But generally speaking, if you're gaming, building a pure gaming rig, Intel is the way to go and NVIDIA is the way to go. If you're on a 1070 or 1070 Ti or lower, you probably should consider getting a 30 series, 3070, maybe the 3060, somewhere in that ballpark. I wish I was sponsored by Intel. I'd be happy to, but we're not sponsored by anybody, so I'm just giving you my honest opinion. And for the record, I just built two $1,500 work computers with AMD 3090s, or excuse me, 3900s in them. So, that's. It's not that I'm against AMD. I just for a gaming rig, I'm not going to buy anything but Intel. Sorry.
If I could, Jay, real quick.
I'm rambling.
In all
I
your
apologize.
wise advice you gave right there, which I agree with completely, there's a word you use throughout that I want to point out does not apply to everybody. Build. Not everybody builds their computers.
Everybody should.
Maybe they should, but they don't.
It's easy enough.
Jay and I had this conversation.
Just let the statistics do the talking. I mean, I'm running a tri-PC setup, and I've got 2 Intel chips and a Ryzen chip. Ryzen does the work. I let Intel do the gaming.
Yeah. So if you're gonna have somebody build you a computer, you want an Intel, and maybe we should make a list of decent vendors. But there's other folks out there doing that. I think if you were to go look at I can't believe I'm saying this. Go watch some Linus Tech Tips. My wife is laughing here because she hates him. They have some challenges where they go and mystery shop some of the big PC builders, find one that isn't a complete douchebag, and go buy an Intel, gaming rig. But here's the thing. Yes, she is right. I don't disagree. We watch him more for entertainment of all the stuff he does wrong. But, my recommendation is if you can build a Lego set, you can build a computer, especially if you have a working one next to you and you can get some help from a friend. So and for the record, Jolly has been offered for somebody to fly out and give him a hand building his next computer if he ever wanted it.
And I'll kind of put this out there too, that this was something that I got from Terraform when I was building my PC. The first PC that I built was back in 2016, and I was still in that mindset even just a few months ago of, back in like the 1990s when you could screw up your PC, you literally can't now.
Oh, you can, but you have to be an idiot.
But you really have to try. I mean, if you connect something somewhere, and it just doesn't work, it's not going to fry your motherboard. You know what I mean? Unless you're really trying to screw it up. It's a lot easier now than it was back in the early 90s. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you, Jay?
Oh, yeah.
I will say this, though. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say, I've got a quick story if you want to know about a computer smoking twice. Yeah. So the very first computer I built, I bought like a PC magazine on how to build a computer. I watched all these videos, and Jay is right. Literally, if you figure out what slot to put something in and you don't jam it in there like an idiot, it pretty much goes in nice and easy. I think the hardest part for me was setting the chip and getting the thermal paste right. But after watching videos of really, as long as you get some thermal paste on there, it seems like it doesn't matter that big a deal, and you don't get it in the wrong places. But I thought I knew what I was doing, and I built a couple computers. And my wife's work at the time wanted a computer, and they were looking at some stuff online. And I said, well, just let me have them build it for you. It won't take very long, and we can build something really great. So I bought all these parts and pieces through Newegg, and I put everything together. I double check everything. I push the button for power, and just smoke comes pouring out of the computer, and it shuts off. And I'm like, what the hell did I do wrong, right? Like the worst imaginable thing you could have happen. So I call up Newegg. I walk through every single thing. I tell them that this isn't working. They actually sent me a new motherboard, a new PC, or a CPU, and we kept the same GPU. Plug everything back in, the exact same thing happens. Power, smoke, poof. I'm terrified. I feel like a complete moron. I figure that I just shouldn't touch another computer, right? So we did diagnose what the problem was. It was a bad power supply that was just sending way too much power to everything. And to Newegg's credit, they took everything back. It didn't cost me a dime. They spent a few hours on the phone with me. So even if you build your own computer and you completely moron it or you get a bad piece, if you buy it from the right place, they'll help you and it won't cost you any extra money to get the right parts.
Now that is the source you buy the parts from is important. Another key difference between building your own and buying from a system builder, there's a situation where I would recommend that, is you buy the parts individually. They're warranted with the maker of that part. You buy from a system builder. Intel has what do they call it? Not box, but what's the other word for that? Jay, tray CPUs,
Yes.
and you have to warranty that through the system builder. Intel will tell you to go away. They won't warranty it because of the way those are sold. So that's something to keep in mind with those. That said, you have people who you say it's simple, you still run across people, they just don't want to deal with it. Or worse, they look at you and me, Jay, and say, "Hey, can you help me build this?" Because
Well, I would-
want you to do it for them for free is what it's coming down to.
I wouldn't, I would not do that for most people, but I'd do that for Jolly any day of the week.
Exactly.
So-
You do it for certain people, but then you get coworkers hitting you up and stuff like that, saying, "Hey, can you help me build this?" And then you're basically their free tech support.
I don't want to be in that, but
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I got an eager 26-year-old who I sent through to college to get a computer science degree, so I
There
think
you-
I can get him to build it. What I've learned in talking with this group and Jay and the media, you guys have been extremely helpful, is that you really do need to sit down and write down what do you want to do with the machine.
yes.
And I'm talking not only just don't say gaming. Write
What
down
kind
the
of
games.
games?
What
Mhm.
kind of games you want? What's the speed you want? Do you want to play them on ultra settings or you don't want to play them on ultra settings? What kind of internet connection do you have? You have to look at everything else, and that's what I've learned. And I guess when I get ready to come to Jay to ask for advice, I'm going to write all that stuff down and say this is what I'm going to do with it. And let's lay out the various components for what I need, and I'll get my son to build it. That's not a problem. But I think if you sit down with a good diagnostic first about what you want to do with it, we, like when you're flying an aircraft or you're doing something, what's the mission profile? What's the mission? What do you want to do? And I'll tell you what aircraft you need, what size do you need, what kind of things you want to. So that's what I've learned a lot from this group over the last, I don't know, 12 months, 12 to 18 months.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, good planning for anything gives you a huge leg up, and building a computer system and properly planning it out and talking to people that are experts is this huge benefit, and you will make fewer mistakes. Having more eyes look at it that are knowledgeable will catch things like, hey, that cooler won't fit in that case where you're planning on it, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of cases today that are really nice cases that only will take a 244 or 240 millimeter AIO in the top exhaust position, and some people don't know to look for that. So if you have folks that are involved, now here's my plug as we get ready to end this show, and that is if you're not in a community like that, there's a cool Star Citizen org called Atlas Defense Industries. And we have this wonderful Discord channel called Tech Talk, where you can ask technical questions as long as you don't try to hawk AMD CPUs for gaming platforms. And so, if you're looking for that. Also, just in case you want to hang out and ask questions, most of us, Nam and I included, are available to get poked on the HangarReady Discord, which is discord.hangarready.com. And, we'd be happy to answer questions as we have time. Try not to wake us up in the middle of the night. But definitely go there.
And this
And
service announcement is brought to you by Atlas Defense Industries.
Don't worry, you're not going to wake me up. I'm muting people.
No, that's good. Yeah, I'm good at muting people too. So, I think. Does anybody have any other questions? Let's go to the members or to the viewers real quick. We've got 114 on right this second. We're number one in Star Citizen, and let's see if we got any questions from the viewers while we chit chat for a minute. So, Jolly, how do you think tonight's gone so far?
Well, really well. You're right. The 3080 segment filled up a lot more time than I thought I was going to, so I was happy to see that.
Well, I stretched it there by talking about CPUs a little bit.
Well, I won't be getting a 3080 at least for another year or two. So,
Well, no.
I mean, I just
you
get the
have a really
2080.
good system. Yeah.
So,
You're not Turing that's got a computer that's in getting to the end of its life. So,
Yes.
Turing, how do
Computers
you
age
think tonight's
faster than
gone?
dogs?
He's
They
finally
do.
getting rid of that Apple II, huh?
Yeah. Turing, how do you think tonight's show went?
I'm thinking.
Guys, any questions, throw them out in chat. How about you, Josh? Did you learn anything new tonight?
I learned more about the
Ask me
food
that
tonight.
question.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that list would be very long for you, Turing, so I was trying to keep it short and sweet.
Oh, thanks.
I learned more about the food in Star Citizen than I probably ever cared to. But it's useful information since it is a part of the game. I think the show has gone well. I'm always interested to see how when we plan a topic and what pops out and the little stories and the information that we get. So I always like seeing that in the back and forth, and I think it makes it a little more dynamic. So I think tonight's show showed that as well.
It does. I'm going to hop over to Hendrosa because Whitey Goodfellow asks, any of you have any videos of you building your gaming rigs? I know Hendrosa does. He's working on a video of building out his rigs. And do you want to pitch that, Hendrosa?
Yeah,
Me
sure,
too.
absolutely. They're already up there. Bam, there you go, Jay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, Whitey, there you go. There's a link to Hendrosa building his gaming rig.
One was a gaming rig, and the other one was a different type of rig, though, right?
A streaming.
So
streaming.
I was
Yeah.
doing I was doing the single PC streaming, which is now my utility PC, and I was like, you know what? Let's build a new streaming rig and a new gaming rig. So, built the streaming rig with the Ryzen, and then built the gaming rig out with the Intel. So, and they're both on there. So
Good. There you
Here, and
go.
I'll post mine, which is a mixture of something you can use for racing and flying. And it took me way much more time than I thought and way more money than I thought. But it actually achieved my lifelong dream of being able to slide racing pedals and flight pedals in and out, pull my touchscreen in, move my racing wheel in. It was a lot of work, but I love it and I'm happy. And so there you go.
So, Nam, how do you think this evening has gone so far?
It was fun. It's a little bit different topics from what we normally do, and I like the variety. Like I mentioned before, I am going to get a 3080. It's just going to be whenever I can get it. I'm not going to pay some price gouging scalper price.
Bleep, bleep, bleep.
Yeah, I'm just going to wait and get a good deal on it. And I got a 1080 GTX. It'll give me a decent boost, and I got a home for the 1080 in somebody else's computer. So, it's a good deal for me. One story on that during the sale, B&H Photo Video, if you did, there was a period there during that mess, you did a search for 3080, and you came back with basically a DDoS message. The system was interpreting the 3080 searches as a DDoS attack. That's how many people were searching for it.
So, we have a question here about our schedule. So we're still working on getting all that worked out. Troll. Normally we stream once a month on a Saturday night at 8:00 U.S. Central, 9:00 Eastern Time. I believe, and I'm going to just put everybody on the spot, that we're going to stream again at 8:00 Central on October 17th at 8 p.m. U.S. Central. Same time, same channel kind of thing.
Yep.
So hopefully that answers the question. Well, guys, I think we've had a great show. We're an hour and 15 minutes in. I hate to cut this one short. We actually had 9 items to talk about, and I trimmed it down to these 3 because we've been going way, way over the last couple of months, and we wanted to keep this bite size. Callie Josh has got a dinner date with his beautiful wife, and we have to get him out of here before she comes and drags him out of the studio like some evil monster because
Yes,
she's
please.
hungry. So just around the room real quick. Everybody, it's a crazy time out there. We've got human malware running around making people sick, and we've got crazies in the streets doing crazy stuff. So be safe, take care. Jolly, any last words?
Nope. Y'all take care and have fun. I'll see you the 17th October.
Yep. Turing, any last words?
Nope. Great night. Glad you guys showed up. See you next time.
Okay. Josh.
As always, it's fun to be here. I enjoy doing this show. I hope the people watching enjoy it, and we love the interaction. So please keep posting your topics and questions, and we'll try to get to them.
Okay. Numidius.
It's fun as always. Glad to talk to you guys about all this stuff, and my wife looks forward to these, if you can believe that. So
she can make fun of us.
Yeah,
Doesn't
so
get
she
enough
can
of you?
critique me afterward. Tell me what I'm
Okay.
doing wrong. But that's what wives are for. So that's all good.
So real quick before you go, some people have asked, what is that crazy thing hanging off the side of your headset there, Nom?
Oh,
I know the answer to that, but they'd like to hear it.
Oh,
Yeah, that.
okay. Yeah, it's a track AR device. Well, it's not track AR. It's I forget
It's
what
the IR emitter for track.
Yeah, the IR emitter. It's a battery powered one. I'm trying to remember what that was called. Shoot.
We
But,
put a
but I
link
got-
in Discord this week
will.
for everybody.
I will dig it up here.
Not right now. It's just
will.
sometime in Discord this week.
I will get it
But-
in Discord this week on what it is, but it's a pretty good device. I'm very happy with it. I got it. It's attached by Velcro to the cap. And as you saw, the cap just detaches magnetically attached to my Logitech headset. So I don't have to worry about it repositioning it every time. I can take it off like that, and it works pretty well.
Good. And Hendrosa, anything you'd like to say before we're done?
Yeah, thanks to everybody that showed out tonight for HangarReady, and thanks to all you guys that continue to support all the streamers of Atlas Defense Industries and on Twitch. So
Great. Well, guys, I'd like to thank you all. It's been a wonderful show. We'll be back on October 17th at 8 p.m. Central, and we'll have 3 or 4 cool things to talk about and, just bandy about. Hopefully it'll be the same crew, but it'll always be 4 to 6 of us talking, and we have a wonderful time. So really appreciate it. See you in the verse. See you next month. Oh, wait, one second. Hold on before we go. We've got a new member who is streaming this evening, and I'm going to try to raid him. 1 second. I want to be nice. Here we go. Let's see if that works. Nope, that didn't work. 1 second.
The drama.
Yeah, and I did link the clip. It's called a Dellen clip.
Holy
Nice,
crap.
Tom.
/raid space his name there, Jay.
Yeah, I'm just it's Jadius, and I'm spelling his name wrong.
JAEDIUS.
JAEDIUS.
Yep.
There we go. Let's go raid a fellow ADI member. You guys have a wonderful month. We'll see you back in October. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.